see if I can get, I'm not a tech person, so
All right.
I'm just hoping I can get all this working right. Right, it could be recording now, so I'll do the introductions. Am I on the main screen?
When you speak, you're on the main screen.
Right, let's go. So, welcome back to Blackpool Music Festival. We've got another big interview here coming up. We've got the irrepressible Alan McGee from Creation 23, and he's going to be talking with our Brian from the White Ribbons, Brian Mitchell, who also you may remember from Lucky Bag Record Show. I'm going to just leave it to Brian. He's going to ask all the questions. So take it away, Brian.
Alan, how you doing?
Good, Brian.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good, man.
So just going to pick up on a point I was making earlier. I love the beard.
Thank you.
It looks ace.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying to you, it's like, it was really long mid-lockdown, but I chopped it, you know what I mean? It was about, 3 or 4 inches longer, but I just had to go, you know?
Yeah. So how are you finding lockdown then?
I'm good with it, to be absolutely honest. I'm pretty busy I'm doing a book deal for Sean Ryder, a skateboard deal as well. But the truth is, I'm missing the gigs because, you know, I mean, especially the last few years, I've just been gigging, and it's a bit like I'm missing it. You know what I mean? You know? But I think we're in. I don't think we're near the end of it. I think the gigs. If you think about it, the gigs where we were when they all stopped 3 months ago, we're not that much further on in sorting it out. So I think we'll be lucky to get next summer in, as depressing as that is. You know,
Really?
Yeah, I think it might be, because if they spike again, they're just not going to open the gigs. Do you know what I mean? You know, I can see it being back end of next year before it's getting anywhere back to normal. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the rest of the world, be the people that are doing, you know, more kind of like a normal kind of things, like are going to be back by the back end of the summer. But music and football and, you know, theatre, you know, anything like that, I just don't think there's I can't see them letting 300 people, never mind 3,000 people, get in a room. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to happen, man, you know.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed.
I hope I'm wrong.
You know, like you, I'm missing the gigs.
Yeah.
So what's your involvement with Musicians Against Homelessness then, Alan?
I'm just really an ambassador for it. You know, I mean, the main person is a woman called Emma, who's lovely. Emma Rule's her name, and she gets it done, really, to be honest. You know what I mean? You know, she's been the person that's been shoving it down the line, and a couple of times, you know, she got me involved initially. She said, "Look, you just have to sometimes turn up at a meeting and help me with it." But I mean, it's not my thing. It's her thing. I'm just, you know, I think I'm known as the patron or the ambassador for it. You know what I mean? But the truth is, I don't do that much work for it. You know, and you know, just because I'm off doing my own thing, it's just like, you know, that, you know, I help her if I can help her. You know.
Yeah. So in terms of the homelessness agenda, then, I mean, clearly you're behind that, though.
Oh, big time. I mean, my son, who is just sorting himself out now, he's 31. He was homeless, prison, junkie. Do you know what I mean? And that went on for 10 years, man. And he wouldn't talk to me for like 10 years. I mean, you know, it's boring to go into it. But you know how, you know, somebody's got to get the blame when somebody's got drug addiction. I was the one that got the blame. And really, I don't think it was that much to do with me. It was just, he had to go through his own thing. And in his head, I was something to do with it. And then when he got sober, I got him sober, sent him to Thailand. He realised it was nothing to do with it. But he was completely, he wouldn't talk to me for like 10 years. And I would hear, oh, he's in prison again. And it was crazy. It broke my heart, man, you know?
Yeah. I assume that all that is now resolved then.
Yeah, you know, he's good. You know, I mean, he's in lockdown with his mother in Kent, and he's good. Do you know what I mean? You know, he's not going. I'm actually seeing him for lunch tomorrow. You know what I mean? But that's one of the reasons I got involved in the homeless thing, because at the time it was unresolved with Daniel. Do you know what I mean? And that was, I think, I got involved in it about 2014 or 15, and I never really met Daniel again till 2016 or 17, something like that. And you know, and yeah, it was 2017. I met him in Tokyo because I'd put him in rehab in Thailand. I'd sent him down there, and then that was the first time he got his head back together. And it was like, oh, my old man's actually all right. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, that homeless thing, it's a lot more complex than people want to admit to it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think he had mental health issues around that time, a long time, because of crack, and he thought that it was me that was at fault. And it was just like, I'm just trying to not let you be homeless, you know.
Oh, it's just, I mean, you know, like, I guess we can't discuss homelessness without getting political. To be fair, we can't.
No, but go there is fine. I probably not agree with you. I mean, we're governed by the Tories, who are, I mean, it's used car salesman, man. You know what I mean? You know, Boris is a fucking chancer. That's what we call them in Glasgow. And Matt Hancock is just a toff that's a clueless fucker. You know, they're both absolutely fucking idiots. You know what I mean? You know, they're just terrible. I mean, people go on about Blair and Gordon Brown. They were on a different level. They were actually bright. I knew them. They were bright people. But you get to Boris. Boris is just a self-serving chancer. And Matt Hancock's just, he's unemployable, but he's in a job, isn't he? You know what I mean? It's just
absolutely unemployable. I mean, he wouldn't have a job anywhere else if it wasn't government money.
I mean, it's a joke, the government. You know what? They'd have been okay, the Tories. As in, they wouldn't have been found out if it wasn't for Corona. They got found out this time because you can't actually have a government of total, you know, fumblers during this. You sort of need a bit more like an accountant kind of person. Do you know what I mean? You know, and like Blair and Brown, even some of the Tories that come before, like John Major, they'd have been okay with these people because they'd have just done the right thing at the right time. Yeah. But Boris is just, I mean, if somebody exposed them for being cokeheads, I wouldn't be shocked because their behaviour to me is cocaine. That's the way I understand coke. It's behaviour like that. Do you know? Because I was a bit like that when I was doing coke back in the 90s. I mean, it's a chancer, and it's a bit like, I'm looking at them going, you're just a fucking chancer, man, you know? Yeah. And that's me, my little rant about them, you know, but
no, it certainly feels that way. It certainly feels like smoke and mirrors, doesn't it? I mean, a lot of the reaction around homelessness, Brexit, coronavirus, it just feels like make it up in the moment and we'll get away with it.
It's a bit like, you know, they were concentrating more on leaving the European Union than they were on coronavirus, weren't they? Do you know what I mean? You know, it was like, and I mean, I don't think we should be leaving as it goes. You know, I mean, I'm not for Brexit, but I've accepted we're leaving. But I mean, it's just even the way that Boris got that through, by telling everybody, it's just like it's Trump politics, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Tell people what they think they'll believe. I mean, I watched Trump last night, and I watched most of it to see. Trump's going to get in again, dude. He's going to do it.
He is.
I watched it. Democrats should be ashamed to put that fucking numpty up, Joe Biden, who is incapable of fucking winning. Because you look at it and you go, people like us look at him and go, you're the political class that we don't like. You know, Trump's horrible, don't get me wrong. But you know what he actually is? He's fucking entertaining. And you know what? And people, they look at Joe Biden, you fall asleep listening to, he's got it right, Sleepy Joe. Whereas Trump's terrible, but he is entertaining. I watched it this morning on YouTube, and you know, I can't see. I mean, if they put up somebody like Michelle Obama, I mean, she's got to want to do it. I accept that, but you have to put a personality up against a personality. They've put Joe Biden up against her. It's just Trump's in for another 4 or 5 years, definitely.
Yeah, I would agree. I watched the same. I watched it myself and thought, it's game over, really. It feels like game over.
That's a personality, and he's going to get in because, you know, I mean, he's get look, a vote's a vote, and obviously half of America is incapable of understanding anything, but he's going to get them to vote for him. He's going to get in. Probably be quite tight, but he is going to get in.
If it's any consolation, there's a lot of we'll get a lot of protest
behaviour,
songs out of it.
His behaviour over the George Floyd thing, and he's politicised the police, really, hasn't he? He's kind of let the police think that in America that it's okay to be fucking, you know, battering fucking, you know, blacks and Mexicans and, you know, I mean, poor
Well,
white.
it was a deliberate. I thought in the speech that he gave last night when he was talking about hombres, that relates. That bit about
yeah, he knows what he's doing all the way down.
down.
Trump has known what he's doing because right at the very, very beginning of it, 2015 or 16, whenever Trump get in, really soon after it, he was coming down, and you thought you were giving him the benefit of the doubt in the beginning, but he knows what he's doing, man.
Of course he does.
It's just divide and rule, you know. So it's we're in. I think if you were really being depressing, it's the world's. We're not swinging towards the right wing. We are in right wing times.
We are. We are. Let's move on to things. Let's move on to things a little more pleasant. Tell us about the label. Tell us about the Creation 23 label.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's 2 years in August, and I'm about 14 singles in, and I'm during lockdown. I'm not putting the vinyl out because and the reason I'm not pressing anything up physically, maybe to the next year, is I'm not sure who's got money and who's not. But I think, do you know what I mean? You know, I think it feels wrong to be saying to people, "Give me £10 for a bit of vinyl" at the moment. So just put them up digitally, you know. But no, it's Creation 23. I've always done the Creation thing, Brian. It's like I started the management in the mid-80s, Creation Records, the first time round, 83 started that. Creation Songs, mid-80s, and that's still going. And I've just been doing it. And this is the latest incarnation, you know, it's now Creation 23, you know.
Unbelievable. So what kind of bands, who are the new bands that you're currently pushing then, Alan? I've
got an Irish one called Clockworks. The Clockworks, brilliant band. Cat SFX, this punky girl I've got. That single's coming out in about a month. Doom Generation. I've got what else have I got? I've got Shambolics for Scotland. You know, they're not doing all these bands are doing well locally, if you know what I mean. Like band K's, the K's. They're selling out the Ritz in Manchester. Shambolics are selling out all the Scottish venues or the clubs basically. You know, Clockworks are selling out Ireland. It's kind of bands at that level, but it's only really in the home area. Do you know what I mean? I'm not national yet.
Yeah. I mean, we were chatting earlier, weren't we, about Alias Kid?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm big mates with Sean and Sean. I think that. I mean, I don't work with them anymore. I mean, I've worked with them for 4 or 5 years, but they're great. I mean, when it's Sean doing the songwriting, it seems to be a better band. It just. Why is it a better band than Sean's writing the songs? Because he's a bit more disturbed. Do you know what I mean? You know, there's something about Sean's songs that are a little bit. You know that Sean's had a life. Do you know what I mean? You know.
You do.
I think that's why it works. Do you know what I mean? You know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, like all the great songwriters have had kind of some form of difficulty in their life, haven't they?
Sean in recent times. Sean O'Donnell, his partner or his ex-partner died. He's now bringing up 4 kids. I mean, you know, trying to have a job and be in a band. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, it's kind of incredible what he's doing. Yeah. He's a really good guy. That's
yeah.
But you can hear it in the music. There's an ache, Brian, with that you only put out. There's a kind of pain, which is why it's good. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, the pain in any song is great, isn't it? Weirdly, we were,
Yeah.
with it being Father's Day, I've got my daughter in, we were watching videos before, all our favourite videos involve some form of pain. They just do.
Yeah.
It's the way that goes. So, so related to Creation 23 then, there's also a movie, there's a film of your life, isn't there?
Yeah,
I've got that right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when it's going to come out, Ryan. It's like Danny Boyle's done it, Nick Moran's directed it, Irvin Welsh has done the script. I've got it on my computer, but it's a bit like, I mean, it's Corona time, man. You know what I mean? I mean, I'd love that to come out. I mean, everybody, the only thing we all fucking do at the moment is play films on Netflix. I just think, put it out on Netflix and Sky and just get it out, you know. But it's people. I mean, you know, it's not quite as simple as that, you know what I mean? So it's not releasing records. Film business is a bit harder, isn't it, you know?
Yeah, is it a fair representation though, the film?
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, it's like, I don't think. I mean, I've showed it to a few people and they went, "You're not really like that," because I'm pretty manic in the film. But I suppose it's artistic license. That's the way Irvin's portrayed me, and it's a bit like you've just got to go along with it. I mean, I'm pretty calm, but then again, I've been calm for years. So what can you do? You know what I mean?
So who plays you in the film then?
Ewan Bremner, Spud. Yeah, he's great, man. He's great. He's great.
Oh, he's fantastic. So when Mike, I mean, you know, you're saying you've got a cut of it. When you anticipating a release date for that?
It was supposed to be at Cannes last month, and it was supposed to be out back end of the summer. I think it's going to be next year. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
Well, I mean, it really just needs to be signed off as a distribution deal because it's effectively just about. It's a bit done now, you know. What the Corona thing, they've been putting the final touches to it for 3 months, so it's kind of done. You know what I mean?
And are you happy with it?
Yeah, I can live with it. I think that's as good as you can. I mean, I know Tony Wilson was a bit like with 24-hour party people, and Sean, who I managed, Sean Ryder, was a bit like that about, you know, about it. You know, so they were all like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not really us, and that's probably as good as you get from a film. Do you know what I mean?
The compromise, I suppose, isn't it?
Because they've got to make everybody. I mean, I'm portrayed as fucking ridiculous. I'm quite ridiculous, but I'm not fucking ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? But you've just got to go, that's how it is. I'm a bananas punk rock fan from fucking Scotland that fucking found a couple of superstars and blew up. And that's the job, really.
Oh, dear. Alan, I'm not, I don't mean... You are magnificent, honestly. Tell us about some of the punk stuff then in Scotland.
Oh, in the 70s?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I was going to the gigs. I mean, there was about 6 punks in Glasgow in 76, and I was one of them. Gillespie was one of them. Jim Kerr and Charlie Burchill of Simple Minds were 2 of them. Ian Donaldson was one of them for H2O, and Jake Black, who sadly just died. For Alabama 3. That was the beginning of the punk thing in Scotland, yeah. In Glasgow. And then 9 months later, there was a few thousand kids into it. And we saw the bands, do you know what I mean? You know, we saw Stranglers, Rosillos, Clash, ATV. You know.
I've got to say, the Rosillos are a much underrated band.
Oh, they were
much underrated.
And it was like, all the punk bands came up, Subway Sex, you know what I mean? But we saw everybody, and then I suppose I started playing bass in a band with Bobby for the Primals and Andrew for the Primals, and then me and Andrew, 1980, we came to London. We were homeless. We got lucky. We got a squat. Didn't have to go back. Started a club, Brian. 82. Was 21. That became successful. Made some cash. Started putting records out on this thing called Creation. A year later, I found
Game over.
We were in, you know what I mean? And there was lots of bumps, you know, but, you know, that was essentially the journey, you know what I mean? You know, and it worked out.
Yeah. How much did you draw on the influence from Postcard Records for Creation, by the way?
Not that much. Not musically at all.
Really?
We drew on Postcard on the one thing that they were from Glasgow.
Yeah.
and they actually got above the radar and were doing good stuff. It was a great label, Postcard. I'm not knocking it, you know. I think it influenced me on the level of if they can do it, I can fucking do it. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important. But the music for me was influenced by punk and TV personalities. Had a label, Wham Records, and it was TV personalities doing punk and psychedelia, and that was much more musically. That's what influenced me, the punk thing and the psychedelic thing. You know. Yeah,
brilliant. So let's close with the final question. We've got to ask, Alan. I'm so sorry. I feel almost guilty asking this question. So the idea of an Oasis reunion, then, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? They're not talking to each other, man. You know what I mean? And and, you know, I mean, it's family, so you never know. But I don't think it's anytime soon. You know what I mean? You know, it's not. It's not a joke, as in it's not. They're not kidding on. They don't talk to each other. Really at each other's. Well, you know, I mean, they don't get on. I mean, they never really got on. They loved each other, but they didn't get on. But now it's just they don't even talk. You know.
Because Liam's pushing the idea of some sort of acoustic thing for the NHS and Noel getting in on it, or something like that. I think I've read.
I'll go if that's the case, but I don't. Not that I've heard. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know as much as anybody else. Anyway, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, we all know what they say, but I know. I mean, I'm in constant contact with Noel Gallagher. He's not in contact with his brother. You know.
Really?
No, he's not. No. No.
Amazing. Alan McGee, can I say it's been an absolute joy and pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you down the road, man. We'll see you at the next Alias Kids show or something.
Well, even if I don't see you at the next Alias Kids show, why don't I mean, I'm currently lecturing at University of Bradford. Please come to the University of Bradford and meet some students.
Get my number off John, and get my mobile off him.
Come at Bradford and meet a few students.
Come up or something. All right.
Would that be all right?